I told you, this guy's a genius.
Self-proclaimed, maybe.
Well, as long as it works for him.
Exactly my point.
Awesome.
Prepare yourself.
Yeah, entirely not sure entirely, entirely not sure entirely. I'm entirely unsure, uncertain. But I was just watching videos that I made and I think I have to agree. I have a giant ego, and that's why I talk to you, you know? I talk onto you from above, right? It's like, you know, I'm looking down on you, that's why I hold the camera like this. I don't hold it like this because it's convenient, because it's easier to hold it close to the body, you know? I don't want to hold my arm like this all the time. I mean, how far am I going to go for YouTube? I mean, this, just look at it. This is a natural resting position. And if I place the camera thingy in there and I have it on short, you know, I don't have to carry so much weight for all of you. And then there's really people that have the cheek of talking to me about the ego, you know, and then you think, I actually want to talk about something important. Why do I have to talk about how cool I think I am? Of course, that's a valid question, but ultimately, I mean, that's the price. I mean, you want to like yourself, isn't it? Right? And if you realize, oh wow, I really like myself, people come and say you have a big ego. And then they try to make you hate yourself again. Because that's what they do. Or maybe they love themselves. Or they think they do, and then they see you and then they think, oh wow, that guy really loves himself. You know, how can I cripple him? By giving him the concept of the ego and saying it is something negative. And the entire world, as soon as you enter into spirituality, everybody talks about the ego. You must know about the ego. Do you not know what the ego is? Well, don't you know? That's what downsizing is, my friend. This is just holding a camera. When have I ever looked down on anyone in here? I'm always correcting all my opinions. When I go left, I go right. Next time. But I know that I'm going left. Or at least I'll figure it out. Because maybe sometimes I just lose my sense of direction. But it's so weird when you live with some people in this world. I mean, I just spent half an hour dressing, redressing. You know, I don't know. I mean, right, what's transgender? You know, I'm pretty picky with what I wear. You know? And in the end, I'm wearing the same stuff I would wear anyway. You know, I went through, wait, these pants again? Well, they did say we're gonna go hiking. Who said it? Well, that's none of your business. You know, exactly my point. I'm really trying to keep things out of here. It's one of the hardest things in the world for me, because I am in some ways, or in all of them, probably the chatterbox. Just can't keep a secret. And I just like talking about people also, because I think it's funny to see, you know, how weird everybody is. I mean, the shit that I experience with people just meeting random guys, and you actually have no idea who you're talking with. And I have the feeling that they feel exactly the same about me. I mean, everybody is kind of drifting around between knowing and not knowing. Only some people like to, you know, pretend that they know, and then there's others where you realize, well, they know that they don't know. You know, everybody walks around. Nobody really knows who they are. Nobody really knows what is going on. Everybody's just doing whatever feels good to him. You know, if you settled on being a postman, then you just keep doing that, because once you learn to like something, you know, why give it up? And that's, of course, the terrible fate of retirement. You know, if you love a job and then suddenly you have to retire, it's like, I mean, what are you gonna do then? Then it's, you know, old people home next. Because you have basically fulfilled your duty to society, and then it's the end. And that's terrible. I mean, just thinking about it. I mean, shouldn't we encourage people? You know, it's the same with school. You kind of raise children and then you say, you know, just pick something. Yeah, but what should I pick? I mean, I've been secluded from the rest of society until the age of 18 to a certain degree. I mean, I wasn't allowed certain things. I wasn't allowed alcohol, you know, and then suddenly I turned 16, like, now you can drink, you know, and get laid. It's like, okay, that's a lot of pressure. How do I get laid, Daddy? Well, you just go there and pick them and then you stick it in. Then you hope you don't get pregnant. But nobody says that. But everybody lives it. And that's what really drives you insane, and you don't really know what you want to do anymore with your life, because, you know, I had the feeling my purpose was to fuck. I mean, I'm just saying that to just have a lot of sex. You know, that's the way I've been raised. You know, you just gotta always have something for between the legs, right? I mean, what a terrible way to live, and what a terrible thing to teach your child. I mean, that's how far ignorance gets you. Syphilis, right? And, you know, but of course, I mean, there's a lot of men that talk like this, like the only thing worth having in life is sex. And I found people on the internet, actually on the very same platform that this is being released on, that said, you know, you gotta have a lot of sex. You gotta have a lot of sex, right? You know, guys, when you're young, you know, sleep with as many women as you can. I mean, it's just because he never figured out how to be good on his own, and then he wants to have like a treasure chest of, oh yeah, that's the women I had. Yeah, good for you, chap, you know? But they never really had you, because you never really opened up to someone. And if you talk like this, of course, I mean, have you ever opened up to one woman? Like, really opened up to one woman and said, you know, this is it now? Because most people that I meet are just running from relationship to relationship to relationship. And they basically always blame, you know, everything else. It was the circumstances, it was he, it was me, you know, it was this, it was that. But it was never just that. I mean, you know, part of letting go is, and that's the hardest thing of all, is you either keep investing in it or you just get rid of it. You see, so now the states, you know, apparently seem to be, I don't know what to believe from people anymore, but somebody told me that they're gonna like kind of legalize cannabis. And I heard how strict the rules were, and I think it's actually good. But what the states mostly don't do, and that's what they should do, is if they release something, also make sure that there's going to be places where you can be informed about, you know, the side effects of cannabis usage. But of course, through the internet, you don't really need that anymore. You can just tell people, be self-responsible about it. But, you know, it really makes no sense, you know, in my book, when I say, you know, it makes no sense in the sense that, I mean, everybody's smoking already anyway. Now they're just realizing, oh wow, we could make money with it, but we just have to figure out how to do it best. Like, how could we best make money with cannabis without losing control? Because that's also important. I'm not saying this in a we're being controlled negative way, because, I mean, who's controlling you? In the end, it's yourself, right? I mean, you're happy the state exists. I mean, even the leftist left wing and the rightist right wing and the hippiest hipster, you know, is happy that there's a supermarket. And nobody could be a, how do you call people that just leave society and then live somewhere, you know, in the deeplands of, or the deep high or lowlands of Sweden. I don't actually think Sweden has highlands. I mean, probably if you would say it in a spiritual kind of way, you would say a renunciate. A renunciate, you know, somebody that renounces society. In German, they're being called Aussteiger. So it's like somebody who leaves, who gets out. But I don't know the English term, but you know what I mean. You know, nobody could be that if they had no society to renounce, right? I mean, if you wouldn't want to get away from something, you couldn't get anywhere else. So at the very least, you're going to have an experience, you know, whether that is going to be, okay, you know, Sweden was nice, but, you know, I have to admit, I'm actually kind of addicted to this toxic society. And that's the really crazy part, because everyone you know, everyone you fucking know lives in this shitty society. You know, even the dumbest fuck that you never want to see, right? This only works with the F word. You know, this only works with the F word, absolutely. I just had the craziest night. I don't know, I'm just exploding into life. This is such a crazy thing. I don't know what's going on. I mean, I just spent half an hour figuring out what to wear, and in the end I was back to myself. And I had like these trousers, and then I thought, nah, because I'm invited to some kind of birthday present, you know, I should look different. And then I started changing things. I mean, I did pack the shoes, you know, barefoot shoes, but whatever, because you never know. And then I was putting on, you know, like kind of these suit pants, not like really fancy suit pants, but just like, I don't know, 20 euro discounter. It's not a discounter. It probably was 50, let's say 50 euro suit pants, you know, with the stripes. I don't know how you call these things, but I also don't care. I mean, I used to wear a tie, and I used to wear also bow ties, and I even tied them myself. I know how to do that, but it's so restricting. It's like, you know, you're literally, that's the leash, people. That's the leash. I mean, the bow tie is an absolute, I mean, it just looks like a fancy leash, but it's a leash nonetheless. And so is the tie itself. I mean, there's all these images where the woman just pulls the guy, you know, it's like, yeah, it's definitely the leash, you know, will make you look all the same. And then you can stand out by wearing the craziest tie of all. Okay, these days you stand out if you wear a tie at all. And it's still being considered proper dress code to wear ties. While these garments that people wear in offices, they're way too tight, man. I mean, no wonder you've got no balls left if you have to sit all day and wear shit like this. I mean, the airflow, yeah, that was me. Yeah, I can't help it, you know, if bad air wants to come out. I've been eating way too much. I've been changing my diet again. I drank way too much coffee. The chicken has been also weighing heavy on me. And I'm still trying to figure out if I'm ever going to bike again. Because I've somewhat, I used to bike a lot, like really, you can't imagine how much I cycled. And when I left Amsterdam, I left my bike there, and to be honest, I don't know why, but somehow I had the feeling I had enough of this cycling. But I actually like cycling, I love cycling, but that brings me back to energy flow. First of all, the posture. From years of cycling, my body has gotten weak, and that's crazy. I never actually realized it because you always bend over. And what really started to make me rigid again, like stand like a stiff like a tree or something, or maybe a pencil. Sometimes crazy scenes come up. I just say pencil, and immediately this image from The Dark Knight comes up with the Joker. Shabam! I'm gonna make this pencil vanish. Whoa, that was a clove. And then, psh! Yeah, I did some tooth hygiene. Haven't done that in a while. Yeah. Wow. There's so much difference. If I wear the hat, I feel like completely shut off. And if I take it off, it's like boom, the whole universe opens up. And that's maybe one reason why I can't stand hair. Actually, the reason I can't stand hair is because it takes too much effort to maintain. Yeah, I'm gonna not walk there now, because if I want to talk like this, screw that. I mean, this is a place of nature and peace, and maybe I can just take the time to talk a bit slower or less loud. I sometimes, when I'm at home a lot, I just pile things on top of each other, like realization after realization after realization after realization. And what people don't understand is, when somebody comes and says you have a big ego, what people don't understand is that, I'm reflecting everything that happens around me onto myself. Everything. And then I look how I feel about it. People say things, I reflect it on myself, and then I try to understand. Yesterday somebody said something that just literally knocked me out. And I don't even know why. It's like he just punched straight into my heart. And that's what I was thinking about, because I had incredible chest pain last night. Like, I've never had such incredible chest pain, to the degree of feeling like, wow, it's such a beautiful area, where people have these little gardens. Wow, Strebergärten. But yeah, you really need connections to get such a place. And some people have really big places and they grow their own vegetables and stuff. Yeah, okay, I meet sometimes people that are a little bit weird. They tell me about their homes and how they make their own food, and then I'm not sure if I should believe this. And you see, this is just what I mean. Just by wandering around, looking at the world, and then following my feeling. I didn't want to take the camera today. I took it anywhere now, as you can see. Suddenly I get an image of something, right? Like I said, with a pencil. And some of these images are pleasant, and some of these images are really sickening. So if I once watched, in my early years, I watched movies like Wrong Turn and Wrong Turn 2, which is a complete fabrication. That stuff never happens. Just trust me. It wouldn't get to this. You couldn't get to this. You would die first. I have shown what madness can do to a human with my content. and what I bring out of myself. Now one step further, and I would probably just take my own life. I mean, maybe you could get just a bit further and meet other mad people, but I mean, like weird kind of mutated cannibals that live somewhere in... They just couldn't survive. It's just, okay, you never know, right? I mean, what weird machines they build. I mean, just look, okay, you know, just look at Stephen Hawking's. I mean, he just shouldn't have survived that long, okay? Without these support machines, he would have just died off. And then the question is, was he really, or is he, I don't really even know. You know, people are gonna get angry at me for saying this, but did he really do so many great things? I mean, it's like, I mean, who are we even praising? Who are our idols? I mean, if we idolize people like, you know, this Cristiano Ronaldo, I mean, have you seen him on camera? What an idiot he is. What he does to people behind their backs and stuff. I mean, he's just a complete fool. He has no idea what's going on. He just runs around and he just thinks, you know, I'm super sexy. And people applaud him for that, you know? I would not waste my time watching this guy. But people think he's the real deal just because probably it's the money again, right? People think, oh yeah, he's got a lot of money, right? So we have to like him. But what benefit is it to you? Or you like him because other people like him, and then you just like him so that people will like you more. But when you realize that the you that's worth being liked is the one you don't even remember. Because if you would remember that guy, you probably wouldn't spend time with such people. You know, I'm not saying that they aren't worth spending time with, but they may not be exactly what you wanted in life. And if you start looking for other places, you find yourself in a place like this, you know, then it's time. It's like the most unlikely thing to happen to somebody who's like completely mainstream, and suddenly full of shame he has to turn to this Christopher, you know, the barbarian lunatic. Oh my god, it's come this far. I'm turning to spirituality because the materialistic bubble couldn't do shit for me anymore. And he at least looks like life could be fun a little bit. But why does he have to be so crazy? Yeah, I don't know. It's just there. You go to people and you are exactly the way you are, and they say, well, that's too much. You know, now you've done it. That's one step too far. I'm gonna shave your hair because it looks really messy and you cannot live your life like this. You know, I won't accept it. If you're supposed to be enlightened or whatever, kind of some kind of guru, you know, not like this. Some dignity has to be maintained. And that's what happened to me. You know, I cut my hair with scissors and then I got castrated. I went to someone where I thought he was a friend, and he literally bent me over his knee and shaved my hair off and said, "You cannot walk around like this." It's like, it's preposterous. Nobody walks around like this. Not in my city. And that's how people live. People get offended over nothing. You know, well, if I'm supposed to be seen with you, then your hair has to be different, you know? Because I feel like I can't get rid of you. So, you know, at least be the way I can accept you more easily, you know? I don't think it's gonna work because I already picked it up. I mean, I allowed it to happen because sometimes I just allow things to happen, except for gay sex. We never got there. I mean, no, I never went there. You know, other people wanted to try it, but I was just like, yeah, not my thing. I mean, you can do it if you like it, but you won't get me there. I mean, I've talked to men that literally wanted to talk me into having sex with them, you know. It's like they just casually, you know, like exhale the topic into your face. And then they say, yeah, this is this way. That was just the police. Every time I see the police, I get a little bit stiff for whatever reason. But, you know, they probably sit there and think, what the fuck? Yeah, that just happened. And that's the crazy thing, you know, if you know you have such an effect on people, that you walk around and they just think, what the fuck? Who is this guy? I mean, it's autumn, he wears a weird poncho, he has a beard, he's filming himself, he's barefoot, and he looks pretty sturdy. And then he's got these, I mean, should I say, like piercing blue eyes. I mean, I don't look myself in the eyes. I can look in the mirror and I see myself when I record myself. But, you know, how would I know that I'm fierce looking? You know, inside I'm actually like a bit like a teddy bear, but like a very angry teddy bear. Like one that, you know, your honey has been stolen and you're very angry about it. And you're just gonna make everyone feel that if they don't at least play along a little, you know, you're gonna get into trouble. Because money has my honey. And that's how you feel like when you meet, I'm just gonna say, the love of your life, and she's being taken away from you. It's like, I want her back, but you were a real dick. Yeah, and then I'm always going to maintain the standpoint, and so were you. You know, I was just your mirror, young lady. I tried to be nice. I tried to be really nice with you. And that's the truth. I tried to be so nice you wouldn't believe it. And that's what I tried with most people, actually everyone in my entire life. I always tried. I sometimes get these flashbacks to Africa. You walk somewhere and actually I just got that back. And then you think, whoa, are there monkeys? You can't believe how much I miss living in Africa. And I know a part of me thinks, you know, that's just a place you have to keep in your heart, because it's so important what you do. But the truth is, one of the reasons why I wanted to live such a life, or why I'm living it, is because I wanted the freedom to just go wherever I want to be and work from there. Because I could do this job anywhere in the entire world. I just need a bit of electricity once in a while. And I mean, with the laptop it's fairly easy, and that's what I like. I don't need a giant working station at home, because I actually don't want it. You know, I want to be portable. And sure, you know, I can make a backup, but if you're a bit smart with your equipment, then what's supposed to happen? You know, okay, you know, what I don't know is whether or not, you know, you could just have a second laptop. When you keep it home, then you just buy a second one for traveling. And then you just make an image every time you leave. You know, you just make an image from laptop to laptop. It's fairly easy. And then you just take the more sturdy one for traveling, and the other one you just keep at home. So you always know at least you've got the last state still available. You know, and then you just save everything on SD cards. You know, this is how I, you know, make these jumps in time, that I'm able to just keep ahead of the workload, because I do realize my life's going to change at some point drastically. And I mean, this could all be just an illusion, but then you probably wouldn't hear me talk about this anymore. I mean, all I can do is simply continue in the hope that what I'm doing is actually kind of good. And I do realize that I'm getting way better, like not just at simply creating content, it's just, you know, how to schedule it ahead. And that's why this is really great at the moment. I can just go nuts. I can experiment so much that you know, if it should come to it and I would want to produce videos for others, you know, I actually have the time. I can do other projects. You know, it's not, I don't want to work on commission, but if somebody, let's say, you know, I won't do this for anyone, you know, I'm just saying, you can't just call me and hire me, you know, it's not going to work like that. You know, I'm just going to meet people in my life and we're going to work together because I have a lot to do creating my own content already. But I just think that you can do features because nice things come out of features. You know, the book I wrote, The Dignity of the Unvaccinated, yeah, I know it's a ridiculous price. I think it's just, you know, let's see where the money is going to come from. You know, I just said that, and I also really mean it, because I've been trying it the way that people want to do it. You know, like, yeah, I'm gonna, you know, you have to call people, you have to make interviews, and then you have to talk about your book, you know, and then you have to make advertisement. I just did nothing. A friend of mine did some, and he's the one who basically then sells it in German. And I just said, you know what, I'm just gonna take care of the English advertisement. And it's not my problem that the book is cheaper. I mean, you can buy it in German and then you can just read it, but that's just the prices. And I think it's ridiculous if you write a book as an author and, you know, he sells the one we wrote for maybe 13 euros, and that's the German version because he put it onto the tradition shop. And I put the English version up and I just said, I think it was 40. Because if you think about it, you know, I write the book, you know, I went through life either reading other books or making experiences, right? And then I put that, or simply sitting with the topic. And then I take the time, I sit down and I write the book. I mean, unless I'm a really, you know, like selling millions of copies, but still, I mean, you want to learn something from me, right? I mean, you could learn from anyone else. But I thought, you know, if I want to get anywhere, I just have to show people who I am. Because why should they read my books? In these days, you know, everybody's a fraud. Everything's the same. And I'm just different because I'm just everywhere. And then I wrote books. And then it's, you know, people who like to read, they say, oh, wow, you know, oh, he also wrote books. And then they look at the price and they think, well, maybe it's a little bit expensive. You know, I don't need snobs, right? Because snobby people that just, you know, buy a book and then they read it, they don't want to put in the work. And they could probably never read what I wrote because it's too weird for them. Unless they just are ready to open up to somebody who's completely different. Because I think that's what the challenge is with me, that I'm just completely different. I mean, not just a bit different, but just really, really different. And so, you know, if you come to me from where you stand and you say something about my ego, you know, I'm just taking my own side now, right? This is how I progress. Sometimes, maybe. Or maybe I just did it for the first time. Yeah, sometimes you just want to go... It's like a bit dirty here. But who am I to complain? At least it's a bit of nature. You know, it's just like, it really hurts my feelings. It really hurts my feelings if people are like this. And everyone is, you know. And so I'm just doing the same. You know, if I'm feeling like you constantly blame me for everything, you know, and you come and you give me tea, you know, I'm gonna question the reliability. You know, I'm just gonna say things like, you know, for a moment, I thought there might be roofies in there, you know, and then you're gonna be like, oh, because you do the same things with me. You know, you're trying to catch me at being phony, but you can't. Oh, you can actually, and that's the nice thing, because I have no design to be perfect. And so I could have been the perfect son today. You know, you know what I was wearing? I wore a shirt, like a smart shirt kind of. Left the top bottom open, top button, and speaking really weird today. It's like everything's kind of shooting out of me. And maybe I'm always talking like this. You know, that's also a really weird way. Because, I mean, I get it. I'm not the only one. I have these bursts of paranoia. I mean, other people have it as well. And, you know, sometimes it's just getting worse. But I learned to deal with it. And, you know, sometimes you think it's gone, but you always carry it around with you somehow. And so what I did yesterday, you see, I don't want to go here. You know why? I just feel vulnerable. I just feel vulnerable. And I don't know, I feel like there's sometimes weird people. Weird people. And sometimes my feeling says, you know, just don't be an old person. But I'm not. I mean, and I will never turn into one. Because I do go for walks at night. Alone. Without light. Okay, now I started taking light with me. But this is different. Because this is like in society, if you know what I mean. This is in society, which means there are weird people because it is easily accessible. Now the night walks that I do are completely different. They're different because, I mean, I just realized how much content I've already created. I mean, today is I think something like the 16th of September, and this is already almost the end of March. I mean, I'm recording now past the 15th. No, even more. Wow. I already have recorded until the 6th of March. Because now I do these shorter segments. And then I have to do something with art and stuff between the 7th and the 13th. 14th, I think. No, 13th. And then from the 14th, probably 6 videos. Then what's that? The 20th. I already have another of these here. And then I have 10 days where I could do something else. And I really like it this way because, you know, I make like jumps into the future and then I just fill in the gaps. Because I was thinking of how to do it, and now I can also think, you know, there are things that I want to do, but I just don't feel like it. It's like stories of my life, then the Piponga, the ping pong mind games, where just like shoot ideas around. Because I'm doing this anyway already all the time. So I also realized, working on YouTube, it's nice to keep it a bit practical. You know, I go for walks, I take the camera. I have to go somewhere anyway, I take the camera. You know, that's just something I can do. And because I decide to walk, I have the time. If people would pick me up, I would have to be at home. But it's a Saturday morning, and it's now 7 or 8 or something, and I can't just talk freely all the time, because then people are still sleeping when I'm inside. So I just get a chance to leave the house and to go for a walk. Because if I'm gonna sit in the car later, you know, at least I have to do some walking. And, you know, so I can perfectly understand when I just wanna hold the camera on short range sometimes. And that's then just my own personal choice. But it's absolutely, it's a divine intervention is on its way. You know, that's how I sometimes feel like, but I'm not sure. Maybe that's just calling from me. You know, I'm not quite sure sometimes what's happening. Some people are so stubborn, they are so stuck in being stubborn that they just can't let go of their stubbornness. because they think they are in the right. Right? They think they have to be the teachers all the time. They don't realize that it's giving and receiving. You teach, you give something anyway, and you can give your angry mood, but you can also give compassion. And compassion not in this annoying, I'm gonna do everything I can all the time, but you just do it. Not because you want to show that you can do it, but just because you really feel like doing it. But with that also comes the responsibility towards yourself, which is you do things because you know you can do it and you also feel like doing it. But of course, we always also want to show that it's possible. You see, that's the difference. You don't just do it because you want to show that you can do it. You just want to show it's possible, people. I mean, we can do this. It is possible to change. It is possible to grow and to become strong again, even after years of physical and emotional neglect. It's absolutely possible, but you have to do something for that. I mean, just look at, I was raised into the computer age, into the computer, car, couch, sofa, TV age, PlayStation, gaming. That's the society I've been raised into, so that now I feel so different. How am I to decide, right, what to wear when I'm being invited to a birthday with hiking? How am I to decide? Do I have to be someone else then? Do I have to wear a shirt and a sweater even if I feel uncomfortable in it? Is it more important to look like someone else would like to have around? Or is it actually important that you simply look the way you look like? And okay, sometimes my parents did say something, but you could say I was incredibly blessed. But they also knew it doesn't matter anyway. I mean, if we say something, he's gonna do it anyway. It's not that he does it on purpose, he just has his own way of doing things. That, like that friend, just thinking about how people think sometimes. A friend asks you if you can hold the space he has this giant hall, and the hall has an attic. And he knows what kind of a personality you have. And then he says, can you hold the space there? You say, yes, I can. And then he says something about white walls. This is not gossiping, I think. Is this talking behind someone's back? No, because nobody knows who I'm talking about. But that is okay. Cheers. Anyway, you see, people greet you and they try to they could also say, hey, good day, Hi, good day, sir. But they say, they're not sure. Is it like a nice morning? Am I supposed to like this morning? Well, maybe not yet. Can I like this morning in front of everyone? That's also a good one. Because most guys are like this towards each other. And, like this kind of, I'm pissed. I'm constantly pissed. And, I feel like when there's a lot of people around, the camera is starting to become a real bother. Which is why I also prefer doing this stuff privately, because it's gonna get worse. As soon as the camera is running, people feel like they want to do crazy stuff, which of course can also liberate you. Just a second. There's a woman with a dog. Guten Tag. Yeah. Anyway, Hemingway, you know, I don't want to give this kind of stuff to people where you say things on purpose. I mean, I like to make people laugh, but not in a very obvious way. Wow. I mean, this is like breakfast challenge. Right, this is not, if you just think about your feet on this, there are sometimes pressure points which really hurt. And I still haven't figured out how to, you know, if there's a way that you just won't have any pressure at all. And that's what evades me. Okay, what I can say is it's gotten better. What I cannot say is that it has become like, I don't know, somebody once told me she read a book about someone who lived with the Aborigines, and then in the end the soles under her feet were so thick that she couldn't get into her shoes anymore. I don't know if you only get that if you really walk every day for miles and miles, but I certainly still fit into shoes. I really can't imagine, but of course, you have to imagine this is a woman. She probably wore really tight shoes, and I've really become sensitive to certain areas, and that probably also has to do with my wish for children, that I feel like now was the time to learn to take care of myself. So that yesterday when I had this pressure on my chest, it also came really unexpected, but I know what to do. So I just did acupressure, pressing on certain points on my body, trying to stretch, you know, just put my hand onto my chest and then just focus on the energy. And you know, if I would have been ignorant of these things, I would have probably called a doctor or a family member. I would have cried for help, and then it would have carted me off to the hospital claiming I had a heart attack or something, or a seizure, because they literally don't know what to do with people. You know, I can just treat myself and then I'm better. You know, the Blythe River Canyon is a really nice traveler advice, but I don't think I will give away too many of these travel gems, because I think that what you really have to learn is to appreciate where you live. Instead of running around chasing places in the outside world your entire life, you could also really learn to settle and to take off your weight towards the environment a little. Because that, what I would call a giant ego, to have a car, to go traveling all the time, to just buy things that are useless. I'm just saying, massage pistols. I mean, what could massage you better than your own hands? And then, you know, I meet people who say, you know, they're spiritual or they're Muslims or whatever, and then they buy a massage pistol. And you can say, well, nobody's perfect. Yeah, but I mean, isn't it sensible that if you put in the work, you're gonna get something out of it? You know, what's the point of always going to a masseuse? I mean, they're overloaded. What we have to do is take care of ourselves. So I just spent the whole night figuring out how to alleviate the pain in my chest. And I managed. I spent time with myself. I worked it out. And when the anxiety and fear started to reside, at least a little, I went to eat something, an egg, no real sugar. Okay, I have to say, no, I did eat. I also drank 3 beer in the evening because I felt like I needed something to just relax me a little, and it worked. I don't drink it every day. I know now how to do it, that I occasionally drink something, and then it helps me. It's just that often people make such a fuss about the things that I do. It's kind of irritating. I say I sometimes drink beer, and then they want to talk me into not drinking beer with alcohol. But I like sometimes to feel a bit like to have a buzz in my head, because it relaxes me. And then they're like awfully strange about it. But all I can say is that it relaxes me. I mean, me personally. I mean, if you can't deal with it, what is respectful? To think that if somebody's a former alcoholic, what's the respectful thing? To not drink around him? Or to drink around him and just encourage him to be around alcohol without trying to force him to join in? You want to drink, you drink. And I think that's how you actually give people strength, by being yourself. Because I realized when I was projecting what I was wearing onto the day, that's how I deal with this question. Every time I realized wearing this other stuff, I felt weak. I felt like a phony. I can wear these things, but not today. That's just how I felt like. And now I feel like I'm dressed way too warm, because I'm just walking a little and I already feel hot. I've just walked a little and I already feel hot. And that's a good sign for overdressing. Also, I have tea with me, but I probably know what I'm doing. And if I don't know what I'm doing, at least I've tried. I already tried all these outfits. And then I had red in my mind. And then I went for this lumberjack thing. And because I think it was a good choice. Because I don't know what I'm going to do in the evening. I'm probably going to go for a walk or something. I'm not sure yet. Maybe gonna play some frisbee. I'm still not sure about certain people. Sometimes they feel like friends and then they feel like murderers. But until everyone I go to, okay, there are intense moments. But I have to be honest, I like it. But, if you really get to know someone, you also realize sometimes they're just playing with you, right? They're just playing mind tricks on you just to see how you will react. So we all give each other these kind of riddles. I give people a lot of riddles because probably I'm the master. And people constantly try to turn me into a slave. And then I go there and I listen to whatever they have to say. And then I just bring a very good argument why I'm doing it the way I'm doing it. And then they realize, oh wow, I think he does know what he's doing after all. Because every time we question him, either right away, but at least later he comes back with a very good answer. And maybe that's what people want, right? Sometimes they ask me questions and then it takes me a couple of times before I can give them a proper answer. And then I'm asking myself the question, should I be doing it this way? How much should you really give to people? But the thing is, if I tell you something and I pack it into some kind of riddle, because I use proverbs or something, or a simile or whatever, you know. I mean, if you understand it, I mean, everybody understands it their own way anyway. And that's what I meant probably with Einstein. And Moin. Ja, ja. Ja. Schönen Tag. Yeah. You know, it's just like tread lightly around compliments. You know, don't just lump them onto yourself. Just say, yeah. You know, and in that image,